Hi, and welcome back. So where do different races come from? Where do they come from? See, evolutionists will say to you, this is one of our prime examples, one of the trophies that we hold in our shelf, on our shelf that, if God created, why then are there so many different races, so many different coloured skins, so many different, appearances in humanity? And so this obviously is one of the pillars that many hold on to. And surprise, surprise, the Bible does have some very clear answers on this, and I will attempt to explain them over the next couple of days. And so, I totally disagree with the theory of evolution, and it is exactly that. That's all it ever graduated to, was a theory. And so why are there so many different races, so many different cultures, different colour skin, different shaped faces, lips, eyes? I mean, the list just goes on. We got to come back to something I mentioned yesterday, and we got to come back to this thing about genetic differences between people. So this is where I guess I'm not a scientist by any means, and those of you that know me will know that very well. But the genetic difference between any two people is 0.2%, regardless of skin colour. So just think about that you can get any two people from anywhere in the world, regardless of colour, of race, of culture, and the genetic difference between any of those two people will be 0.2%. Now, have a listen to this. Genetically, the difference between a black and a white human is 6% of the first mentioned 0.2%. And that's the difference between them. So this means genetically the difference between a black and a white man is 0.012%. It's nothing. And so the genetic difference between white people is predominantly, white races carry a greater difference in comparison to the genetic difference between black and white humans. So you're probably thinking, where are you heading with this? And so, if we look at it this way, so racial differences are quite insignificant generally when it comes back to what we have been taught. And I know that many of us may have been taught the wrong things, but as we come to Christ, we begin to understand that every single person, our heritage goes back to Adam. And so, regardless of education, of system, the peers that we've had in our life, sometimes I think we've just simply been taught wrong. And so this immediately then puts pressure on such ungodly organisations as the KKK, Ku Klux Klan, and other religions. And, we get some churches that they claim to be Christian, but they will not allow coloured people in their congregation or in their buildings. And if we're going to speak about the white supremacy movement, if we look at the figures that I just mentioned before, we have no grounds for that at all. And that all humanity was made in the image and likeness of God and made equal, and we must remember that. And so biblically, all different races across the whole earth, the genetic origin goes all the way back to Adam and Eve. And so, that really brings a very healthy balance to the whole picture. And so tomorrow we're going to look at some scripture that will enhance what I've been speaking about today. And so, yes, we must look at, where do different races come from. We're going to see that in the coming days that an event took place on planet Earth that caused something to change, and where we see where the different races came from. And it's very, very interesting. So between now and then, see if you can work out what it is. Anyway, be blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.